Namaskaram. We have Siva Prasad N.N. sir here with us. Namaskaram, Siva Prasad.
Namaskara.
So, our first video had a warm welcome from the musicians, and there were requests asking for more to come up. So we are doing the second part today. So this time I would like to focus questions more based on the dance music, especially like Bharatanatyam, Mohiniyattam, Kuchipudi, etc. So you had been singing for, you come from like a Sopanam style, and you adopted to the different styles of dances from India, Indian classical dances. So can you please describe your experience of singing for Bharatanatyam, like how the expressions match in the music and the dance, things like that?
Let me thank all the audience who appreciated it. I'm happy that it is helpful to those who exploring for knowledge. Regarding the question that music for the dance, I would say, as last time I said, Gidam Vadyam Nrittam Trayam Sangeetam Uchyate.
Yes.
So you cannot separate music with dance. It's like a journey together, music and dance. Without music there is no dance. Without dance there is no music, So when regarding the style, when I sing for whether it is Bharatanatyam, when it's Mohiniyattam, whether Kuchipudi. So what my understanding is, each dance have their own kind of technique, and the melody part, rhythm part, everything is, though it is common, but it is different. Many dance forms follow Natya Shastra. Some of them follow Hasalakshana Deepika and all that. So they have their own structure, how the music could be, how the talam should be. Actually, Natya Shastra, there are chapters which specially mention about music, how the music should be for the particular dance form, or whether it is theatre or dance. You cannot separate music from the dance. My opinion.
That is very true.
Yeah. So when my approach is like, when I sing for Bharatanatyam, I try to understand their tradition, the way how it danced, how the lyrics content used, how the storytelling, and how the dancer wanted that to present. So I understand that, and what are the lyrics, because now earlier in South Indian dance only stick to only South Indian languages. Like Bharatanatyam was following mainly repertoires of Tamil, Telugu, later Malayalam also, Kannada also. But now you can see vast difference in that, because Marathi compositions are started using for Bharatanatyam, because Sarfoji Maharaja composed a lot of compositions. Sarfoji Raja was ruled in Tanjore. He is a big patron of music and dance. He composed a lot of music in Carnatic style. The raga, tala follow the Carnatic system, but the language is in Marathi. Then when you come to Gujarat, they have a lot of compositions of Srinathji bhajans and Srinathji composition which are adopted for Bharatanatyam. And when you go to northern India, a lot of Mira bhajans and Tulsidas bhajans, all that has been used to present Bharatanatyam programs. So now the horizon is such a vast that you are not just sticking to only South Indian language, but all other languages also started using for their margam. So the thing which I have to see is what language they are using. Because if you Hindi songs, if you sing in a Tamil style, it will not able, either Tamil people or either North Indian will not be able to understand. So the way of, accent and the way of how you produce the lyric content to an audience with the music, and particularly the raga or melody that you used, all that matters. Understood? So when Tamil song, you can stick to any South Indian language, it suits. But when North Indian language, if you adopt for South Indian ragas, you have to little deviate from the orthodox way of gamagas or the different approach of ways or style. So, but same time you have to understand the style of dance as well as the lyrics, so that it reaches to the rasikas, and then they are really able to enjoy. So same approach with other styles also, whether it is Kuchipudi, Mohiniyattam, and Odissi also. Nowadays, even some of the North Indian dancers, they recently experiment with South Indian raga, South Indian dance, South Indian music also. So you cannot bluntly just randomly take a song and do it. You need to understand the style of the dance, then according to the ragas, selection of melody, all that you have to choose very correctly, which suits that dance style as well as the lyrics. So this was one of my approach from early I tried, and it became very successful. So when I sing Marathi compositions for Bharatanatyam, I don't know whether you have heard about Parvati Kumarji and Suchita Pede Chapekar, and they all, Sandhya Purecha, they all brought a lot of Marathi nirupanas from Tanjore, and they started performing with these Marathi kritis. So I am able to reach to the audience the language as well as within the Carnatic way of singing and with the ragas. So both way, either North Indian also can enjoy, South Indian also can enjoy. This is one approach I try my best for the classical dance forms. So this has been a successful one, so that all over the globe, everybody able to enjoy all the style.
That's nice. Yeah. And also, how about the accent, especially when we change the languages? How do you adopt to the exact style of speaking the same language?
Yeah. Being a Malayali, that is one plus point for me, advantage for me, because Malayalam has a lot of, we call it Sambat Naksharali, so many aksharas, so many accents are there.
The Sanskrit
root. Sanskrit is, of course, Sanskrit also is there. Sanskritam, the way North Indian speak, South Indian speak has a lot of difference. So Malayalam has that plus point that you can any language or any lyrics, you can write it in Malayalam. So that is one plus point. Then you have to understand the way how they pronounce the particular region, how they, even particular word, how they pronounce. For simple example, we South India we say ragam, but in North India they say rag. Right. We say talam, they say tal. So this kind of regional difference you have to understand. Yeah.
And when it comes to the talam aspect, especially in dance forms, different styles like Bharatanatyam, jatis are different compared to maybe Kuchipudi and in other Odissi, Kathak, etc. So does that actually affect your singing in the sense? I have heard that the mridangist or the pakawat, whoever is playing the percussion, they basically follow the steps. But as far as a singer is concerned, you also have to pay attention to the steps of the dancer, the jati, etc.
Yeah. First of all, you have to understand the technique, the rhythmology of the style. For Bharatanatyam, they have the kind of Aditalam, 35 Thala system and all that they follow. Even Manipuri also has this kind of same kind of system they follow. North Indian music also has the same thing, we call it is Adi Talam, similar Talam, they have 3 Tal, So it's same like language, maybe the count So music is universal, everywhere it is the same. But it is, you have to understand the Deshi Sangeetam, that the regional kind of approach of the language, Talam. So once you understand the Tala system of that particular dance, then it's easy for you. And of course, instruments make a lot of difference, because if you play the Mridangam style for an Odissi, it may not suit. You can experiment with Mridangam, but you follow the way how Mardal used in Odissi. If you give that kind of rhythms, it may get along. But of course, it will have a little difference, like how the South Indian music sounds and North Indian music sound. Odissi music, they have a lot of, there is a section for Odissi, Oriya, Sangeet. So if you understand all that, like Manipuri, they have a kind of way of system. Kathak generally follow the North Indian music system, like Tumri and all that. So for them, it is little easy compared to whether Odissi or Bharatanatyam musicians, because we have to strictly follow that style and that kind of raga and tala system.
Also, like dancers give lot of importance to abhinaya, and when it comes to singing different ragas, how do you relate with the different rasas, the navarasas that they are able to express? And from the musical side, can you tell your experience?
Yeah, actually, it says like in a Carnatic music, we have like this kind of raga suit for the rasa, this abhinaya, this kind of expression and all that. Of course, it can, it has that effects. Like, for example, if you sing a Shubha Panturali or Shivaranjani, this kind of raga can better express the Karuna rasa. When you sing Adhana raga, it naturally gives a Veera rasa. You know, this kind of approach you can do with the experiment with the different ragas for the abhinaya, what you said, navarasa and all that. But being a musician, I tried one same raga in different rasa also. For example, Todi, I tried with happy mood also sometime, the Carnatic Todi I mean to say. And sometime it used for Shringaram, and some rare songs I tried it for, Karuna. So the same notes, if you present a different way, you can use that music for different rasas. So for example, Todi, if you kind of beginning you give it like, open and like a bright, feeling. Same Todi, if you sing for a Karuna rasam, so low approach, and you go around the Purvanga notes, then you can give that Karuna rasa. If you go to the Uttaranga notes, you can give more bright kind of feeling, so that you understand the what expression, what piece their dancer is doing, then sing that kind of approach about the raga notes, so it gets succeeded. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So it's what I mean to say is like, you don't stick to particular raga, you don't decide that one raga can be only used for one rasa. We experiment same raga in different different feelings. For example, now if you look into Muthuswami Dikshitar compositions, he composed many ragas. So more of bhakti and happiness, but the raga may be like Shubha Bandhavali or Shivaranjani, but the way it is composed and sung, it gives a happy feeling. So you don't restrict your ragam to a particular rasa. It's my personal opinion.
Okay. Yeah. And when we started, you also mentioned from last time about Sangeetam, the definition of Sangeetam. Geetam, Vadyam, Chamritam. So I would also like to cover the Vadyam portion now. So what is the role of musical instruments in a dance music, in a dance performance? And what are the different instruments used in the different genres?
See, instruments earlier in the Vedic time, I believe all the instruments called as Veena. Even in Ravana Hatha also, because when we say like Ravana used to play Veena. Actually, Ravana Hatha is kind of the earlier first kind of instrument like violin. It was not looking like Veena, but in Vedic time they say Veena. So that time itself Veena, Venu, then Mridanga, Vadya. These are the basic three instruments which were used in earlier time in India. But then it evolved, and it even the Mridangam what you see today, it was not like the same in the ages like those days. And Kirtankars used to use their kind of pakhavas, which was very close to Mridangam. So it was not only used for dance, for the concerts also, bhajans, sampradaya also, and even folk dances also, various instruments. India is the number of instruments which we got in India, it's n number. You cannot count how many instruments we have. But we use mostly these temple kshetra vadyas for the dance and concerts. So earlier it was like for the Carnatic concerts, Mridanga was there, Veena used to be there, and flute was there. But later violin also dominated, because violin is very close to the vocal style. So it can produce the Gayaki style of vocal than in flute or Veena, I believe. That is why probably
convenience also.
Not only convenient, because the minute gamakas you can create it in violin better than flute or Veena. That is what my understanding. Because in Carnatic music, it's like the oscillation is very important. There are even 22 gamakas, like explained by Pandits. So especially Etajaru, Erkajaru, and all these can be very easily produced in violin compared to. It's not that I'm not saying an instrument is less, but probably that could be the reason that violin dominated for the concerts of Carnatic kacheris. So same thing happened in classical style also, like Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi. But same time in Mohiniyattam, the Kerala style, they for this particular style, the music they adopt more Veena or flute. There is it's not a comparison, but the musician or the music rasikas feel that Veena and flute can produce more kind of like that Kerala feeling, because when violin are so good, but violin mainly dominated in the Tamil region and using for Bharatanatyam. So just to differentiate, more Veena and flute used as an accompanying instrument for Mohiniyattam. And of course Kathakali, they have Chenda, Maddalam. That is the main instrument, because Kathakali is more vigorous dance, and the mudra, hastas are really accompanied with the Chenda. It gives the correct effect. But very well in Odissi, Mardal, and Manipuri, they have Kong, and then Kathak, they use tabla. So I don't know why this tradition had come from, where it came, we don't know, but that is the system nowadays they follow. So instruments play a big role for every style, and same time it differentiates the sound quality, and the sound that produces also keep a differentiation for the particular style. And nowadays there are experiments going on, like different kind of instrument using for different classical styles. But it's experiment purpose, it's okay. You can experiment and you can produce some songs with that. But I would suggest that particular instrument give that particular feeling for that particular style. Because people's ears are used to tune to that instrument. Because Carnatic concert means if you present with a Chenda or Maddalam, the Rasikas not used to that. It's not that he cannot produce it, but the system they are so much tuned with mridangam or violin, like or veena kind of feeling. So someone has to experiment, and they have to get the feedback. I don't think anything wrong in experimenting, but nobody wants to experiment that because people feeling shouldn't hurt, like Arisikas. Probably that could be the reason. Nobody should openly criticize that you're doing wrong. Maybe, yeah.
And when it comes to the training part of the dance music, the basic comes from Carnatic music as far as I understand. But when it comes to the repertoire of the dance songs, the kritis, etc., is there a particular syllabus and training environment created, or is followed in?
I would suggest like both dancer as well as the singer definitely should have a basic training of Carnatic music. Otherwise, they will struggle. For example, if the dancer doesn't know about music, she or he is not able to explain what they want. They may say, sir, I want this thing, that thing, but they are not able to explain it what they were. Olden times, all the dancers, all the gurus were well trained in Carnatic music as well as mridangam. They have all basic training for even reciting jatis, everything. So working style was more easy and easy going. The dancer or guru can explain the instrument. Even an instrument player who never played for dance also will be able to adopt style with these explanations. So the gurus can explain this is what the way you play mridangam for a concert and way you play mridangam for a dance is different. They can explain it earlier times. But nowadays I find like this lack of knowledge with many dancers. I'm not criticizing anybody. This is my personal suggestion. If they learn music, it really helps for their choreography, presentation, understanding music, and it will gel with whatever the music they create. Easy to understand.
So any learner of even if you're a dance student or a music student or an instrument student, you need to have a holistic understanding of other aspects of the performance also, like a singer aware of the jatis, the natuvangam aspect, and the dancer aware of the different talams and the raga.
It is essential. You should know about talam. Dancers should know the talam, and musician also should know. As I explained like earlier, they should know more about. They should at least try to understand what dance, what they're enacting, and of course, knowledge about our Purana and like story. At least little bit basic knowledge is essential, because nowadays when you narrate a story about Krishna or Rama, even for a Krishna, how the olden times gopis milking the in their houses and making butter and all that. For the new generation, sometimes if they don't know what is that, because nowadays you cannot see any home these kind of old techniques, because everybody has electronic instruments like mixer and everything. And I'm afraid that next generation, he may not, because they buy from the shops.
Right.
They don't know how this made and all that food is made. So these kind of explanations, as a teacher, they should explain to students olden times what was that, what is today. So differentiation, they should, instead of just teaching a song and Krishna came and did that, then you explain to them better way. This was the happening in the Kokulam, what Krishna used to do, what gopis used to do, and what was that instrument they are using and all that, manual, all that. So the student can understand, because you cannot expect everybody know about this story. Of course, our time at home, we used to listen to stories, and in the temples and all that, katha saying and all that. So the children used to understand from the childhood that what is the story and all that. But nowadays, especially in the corporate world, like in modern cities, many of the children are not aware unless they are explained to all these stories, because whatever the knowledge they get from the social media or TV. So it is necessary that when they're going to learn a music or dance, these things to be explained in a better manner. Yeah.
So to basically grow as an artist, I have heard like people are expert in 64 art forms. So you need to know different art forms to present one.
No, it's not necessary 64. It's a big number. I heard this Shankaracharya and Ramana, all that, they know this 64 art form. For a person like us, like common, we may have to take 64 janams, 64 births to understand so much about it. Because one art form, what we are learning is our one lifetime is not enough to understand. You know, our ocean is such a vast that even our music, dance or different genre of like literature is one ocean, then Thala is another ocean, music is another ocean, lyrics another ocean. So to understand that even one birth is not enough. So to understand 64, you may have to like 64 or 70 birth. You know? Yeah. So stick to what you're doing. That stick to. Suppose you are a musician, you are a whether South Indian musician or Hindustani musician. If you are focusing in a South Indian music, you explore more about it. Of course, you can borrow and understand about North Indian music. Same thing with North Indian musicians also. You borrow from South Indian ragas, understand what is South Indian music, but focus on what you want to do on that. So, if you experiment too many things, you will end up with nothing. Yeah.
So I would like to move on to a different dimension at this point. Like when you see Carnatic music, many of the compositions like Tyagaraja Kritis and other great composers' Kritis, you see an element of spiritual aspect, like Mokshamu Galada, right? Nadaloludai Brahmanandame. So such Kritis when you take, the orientation is towards your evolution and realizing the self, kind of. So when it comes to the dance art form, how do you connect? Like,
yeah, because I find, this is my personal opinion, when you take a Tyagaraja Kriti, Dikshidhar Kriti, lot of spirituality is there, and for example, Dikshidhar's Salapuranam, he explained about what is temple, even Navagraha Kritis. But I'm not saying that it is not enough to dance, but for a dancer to explain, to showcase, you have to create some stories to reach the people. Because olden times, this was a medium to explain to the people what is right, what is wrong. That is why Ramayana Katha, Bhagavata Katha was so successful in those days, because whoever preached, they explain what it is, who is Rama, who is Krishna, like, you know. So this kind of explanation later, instead of just saying it, it started enacting with dance. The people started enjoying, people started to understand. I'm talking centuries back. So for dance to explain something, you need some story or something like that, you know. It's not that this kind of spiritual compositions don't have that. It has. But to understand that what Dikshidhar meant to be, what Rama meant to be, for that, you have to learn Carnatic music. You have to go explore that compositions. So many dancers may not be experiencing that spirituality. There are dancers who understand that a lot of compositions are adopting from Muthuswami Dikshidhar and Shyama Shastri and all that. But the other side is that we, as a South Indian, the composers are, for example, Purandaradasa himself is composed 8 million compositions. So imagine how many composers are in South India itself. To adopt, you can adopt only 3-4 songs of one composer. That many composers are there in India. So imagine, to explore that, you have to understand. So if you are only doing Tyagaraja compositions, then you have to research, get into that composition. You have to understand what Tyagaraja meant to be like, because Tyagaraja is one composer used to even criticize Rama. You are not like this, you did like that, you are not me like that. So understand that you should know the spiritual content of that. So it's a big study. So every dancer should try that. Nothing wrong in that. Don't stick to always only one story or one thing. Spirituality are explained.
Focused kritis are there. But
There are. Even Tyagaraja composed Nauka Charitam. It has a lot of Shringara and with Ras Leela and all that. Unfortunately, those days I think that these compositions, Tyagaraja compositions, are mainly sung in temples and spiritual places.